You still say that?
No, it has. There's 20 shoes.
Yeah.
So we had press conferences in the new year. Yeah. Some
I
other
have
stuff.
to go somewhere else.
Working later.
As usual, we'll have a brief drink out at the end of National Day and then Barber until 10:30 tonight. Alan?
Jürgen, sad news this morning regarding Gianluca Vialli. Did you do you have any memories of him? Did you ever get to meet him?
No, never met him. But in this specific case, it's everybody knows what a player he was, and when you see the reactions of his former teammates, former colleagues, and it tells you a lot about what kind of person he was, and really sad. But I think it's pretty rare that somebody thinks, okay, he was old enough, but with 58, definitely not. And when you're yourself 55, then you realize, oh my God, that's it's coming closer. Let me say it like this. But it's really tough, and the reactions say everything. I didn't know him personally. I only knew him as a football fan, and he was an outstanding player, obviously. And I wish him, his family, all the best, his friends, all the strength necessary to get through this, and he will be remembered in the best possible way, definitely.
Thank you. You're holders of this competition. How do you approach this FA Cup tie against Wolves? Given that defeat against Brentford, obviously you want to bounce back. Does that change the thinking in any way for an FA Cup tie?
No, it doesn't change. The only what always change, it's just if the amount of games you have around. So if you play Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, or whatever, these kind of things, then you have to think about it. But in our case, we played Monday last time, and now Saturday, and then I think again Saturday. So no, it was always clear we will line up as good and strong and experienced as we can. But we actually always did. Just it looked sometimes a bit different, but always the best possible lineup for a specific game. But with Monday, Saturday, there will not be a rotation because of the competition or whatever. No.
You certainly, without Virgil van Dijk, I suppose that is the bad news, a big blow. But is that tempered by any good news that Cody Gakpo is ready for his debut? What's the news on Van Dijk and Gakpo?
Yeah, couldn't be more different, to be honest. Both are Dutch. That's the only similarity, pretty much. Yeah, okay. On Virgil, it's a surprise for us. It was obviously a big blow. He didn't feel a lot, and I took him off actually. So because no risk, so it was not clear. Maybe he would have tried and stuff like this. So in the end, the diagnosis was pretty harsh, and but we talk about weeks, so more than a month. But I hope then it goes quick. But we have to see. For now, he's not available, and that's how it is. And we have other centre halves. So it's now, as long as that's the case, everything is okay for the team. But for Virgil, obviously, it's hard. But for him, he played an incredible amount of games over the last years, to be honest, and so now we cannot use him on the pitch at least, but only off the pitch we will do that. And with Cody, it's the other way around. Cody's in for 2 days, 2 training days now, full training days, and it's a joy to watch, to be honest. It's and of course with our situation, injuries with the strikers as well, it's really nice to have a guy on the pitch who obviously is pretty natural in a lot of things of the offensive part of the game and knows where the goal stands, and that's always very helpful. So, and he's obviously full of joy, enjoying each second in the moment, and so yeah, that's very good.
Can I just ask you one more? The FA and the Premier League and the EFL are meeting today, and other representatives, and on the agenda is the scrapping of replays for third and fourth round FA Cup ties. Would you be in favour?
Yeah, was always.
Sometimes it can be a lifeline to smaller clubs, though.
We have to find other solutions for that. The lifeline for smaller clubs cannot be massive problems for clubs who play all 3 days. So there must be other solutions. So, and it's how often did it happen that a smaller club came through because of this extra game? How often? There's only one game. I know there's again money involved, and that's how I said that we have to find solutions for that. Nobody wants to kill the smaller clubs or wants that they have to exactly the same right for existence like all of us. But we cannot sort all the problems by playing more games. So that's not possible, and that's why I would be in favor of that. But I've said so many things last 7.5 years. Nothing of them happened pretty much. So
90 minutes and penalties.
yeah, fine, great.
Jürgen, with listening to what you were saying about Virgil, is it just wear and tear then with him?
What is it?
Is it just wear and tear when you talk about the injury? You didn't think it was an injury, and then the amount of games that he's played. Is it just a knock on from that, this injury that he's got?
That's hamstring. But hamstring. What else should it come? We only played and then he, because he played all the games, he's recovering between the games. So never had an issue with muscles. Never mentioned anything. So before, and that just now happened. So that's how it is. Nothing to say about. Nothing. We did nothing different. It was one sprint too much then in that moment.
Okay. And with Cody, when you say he's a joy to watch, what have you picked up that you hadn't seen or didn't know about him already in the short time that
He's a good footballer, good in small spaces, likes to finish from distance as well, and a pretty good shooting technique, a good dribbler, all these kind of things. But everybody who wants to know could know, because there are a lot of videos out there. And that's all. But it's obviously different if you, when you sign a player, you watch a lot of stuff, and in the end, it's still nice to see it then in real time and live in front of you. So that's what I mean with it.
And in a way, I suppose it's nice for him to get started, bearing in mind, he signs and then he hasn't been able to do that much because of the work permit situation and everything else.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if any player who got signed in this window already played, probably not. So we were pretty early, so this is the first possible moment where a player could play. Yeah, maybe if our Premier League game would have been not the second, but the fourth or fifth, or last night when they played, yes, then maybe we could have played. But for us, it's the first possible moment, and it's absolutely perfect because we usually business starts later on in January. Decisions are made later, and these kind of things. In this specific case, we were pretty early, and that's why I'm completely fine with the situation.
And in other terms of the injuries, just sorry, is there anyone else available to come back for this?
Hendo.
With the Jordan's concussion?
Exactly. He did exactly what he was allowed to do yesterday. Big parts of team training without heading, and from today on, I think is completely allowed to do everything. No, I think that's it.
Yeah, again, I know you've had problems with injuries in terms of available players, particularly in midfield. Are you any closer to solving?
Particularly in midfield.
Well, you've had midfield players injured.
But not only. If you want to ask a question, you don't have to prepare your question with the lead up. So, okay, you want to ask if we sign a midfield player.
Nothing to do with signing a midfield.
Nothing good then.
Nothing to do with it at all.
Okay.
No, to solving the balance problem, whereas the defence is not constantly put under a lot of pressure, and still teams are able to get through the midfield with a lot more ease than they used to do.
If things like this happen, then it's a general problem, not a midfield problem. So it's not that might be in the late 50s or 60s when the midfield was responsible for, and that in the midfield something is wrong. So football is a much more complex game. Meanwhile, defending starts up front. If you don't defend there, and you have still the same idea, the idea in your mind how you want to defend, and if you don't do it, then the midfield has no chance. So the pitch is too big, the opponents are too good. That's long ago that we really had to talk about these kind of things. Balance might be a problem now, not so much in the last game. The goals we conceded were 2 from a set piece and 1 from a counter attack. There was not doing the ball through the midfield. It was it had nothing to do with midfield, definitely not. Before that, I don't know, it's all about organization. It's not so much about that one midfield player or whatever could sort that. It's about us then in that moment to do it collectively in the right manner. And the way we want to defend is clear. That works out pretty often. But obviously not all the time, and then Ali has to make a save. That was in our best games the case. That was in our best phases the case, that Ali had to make incredible saves. Otherwise, nobody would have realized how good he is. When you have 99 points at the end of the season, and everyone tells you have the best goalie in the world, then that must be a reason for, because he's not the best goalie of the world standing behind the best defense. It's just because he makes incredible saves in his moment. So these situations were always there. And for me, obviously, it's as important as the balance is in the game on the pitch, as well as important the balance with the analyze, because I cannot analyze a game differently when we lose or when we win. It's just about the situations. There are goals left and right of the pitch. Either you score or you don't score, but the rest is has to be judged in the same way. So, and if it's right, it's right. If it's not right, it's not right. And how I said, that never changed. And that's why we work on that, but not since yesterday and not since Brentford. We work on that all the time. That's really important. Am I completely happy with the way we played? No, definitely not. But I can't see it as a midfield problem. It's a general thing. But even in these games now and at Brentford, we lost it, and it's exactly how it felt, and it's how it should feel. But we had a really good start in the game, and we should have been 2-0 up before Brentford was first time in front of our goal or had a corner, and nobody would have won about that. But that's not given in the moment, that we score early or immediately, these kind of things. So we have to work extremely hard to force the luck a little bit to get in this position, and then you have the momentum and not the opponent has the momentum, because at Brentford it was obvious that they had always the momentum until we scored the 2-1. We scored the 2-1 even before. It was for an inch offside, so could have been 2-2 at that time, and that would have been an interesting game. So we lost it, and it's really exactly the opposite of what we wanted. But we know we have to, or we want to be more clear, more balanced, more structured, more intense in moments, and that's what we are working on.
I know you don't have Diogo Jota available at the moment, and Sadio Mane's not around anymore. But to go back to the point that you made
Luis
about...
Diaz, Bobby
Yeah.
Firmino, all three are not available.
I'm
Just
talking specifically about the pressing at the top end of the pitch. When you said defending starts at the top end of the pitch, are the players at the moment not doing it to the extent that you want from them, or in the way that you want?
That's not too much a question of to want it. My job is to make it that clear that the boys it's not about wanting, that they feel it, that it's 100%. That's clear. We have the right timing. We are together. We are compact. We can do these kind of things. Yes, if things don't work out, then somebody is not doing exactly like he should. That's sometimes one person, sometimes 2, 3, 4 per. That's not consciously or willingly. It's not like that. It's not no. That's it. It's just it doesn't work out, and it's because this is nothing. You don't start pressing here. You start pressing here, and that's what it is, and that's what we did very often. But I only mentioned that because you spoke about the midfield, and that's how my life is as a manager. I want to make sure that it's not a midfield, and the next thing you realize then it must be up front. So and now we have the next position to play. But it's all fine. Yeah, you know it. Maybe you don't want, but I said it in public. So that means that anybody else can do with it what they want. But that's all fine. Really, all fine. We don't think we are brilliant in a moment, and we should have won at Brentford 7-0 or whatever. We are here. We know we lost there, and we want to show reaction, and we have the next chance to show the reaction tomorrow night.
Thank you, Carl.
Jürgen, hi.
All right.
Just go back to Cody. When Luis Diaz was signed last year in January, he made an immediate impact. We've seen prior to that, Virgil came in January, he made a massive impact. How confident are you that Cody can make a significant contribution straight away, or have you seen that already that you think he can fit in straight away because of his form this season?
No, he looks really good, looks really promising, he looks fit. That's all good. Is he at 100% fitness? I don't know. He trained with that. He had now a few days where he was allowed to train, but not with the team. Now 2 days with the team. I think the sessions you could see are intense for him because different, not more intense, but everything what is new is obviously then you feel it a bit more. And I'm very positive about him, very. But I'm not sure if it's not helpful that we compare. Lucho's impact was really special, to be honest, and we could swap around a little bit. We had difficulties as well, injury-wise, and that was extremely helpful. That's how it will be in the moment as well. But Cody gets the same amount of time like each player. You have to settle in offensively. It's not that easy. He comes from a different league. That's always difficult. It was for Lucho as well, but then you don't have to compare that. But we expect a positive impact, definitely.
Marcel from the Telegraph, Netherlands. Ginny Wijnaldum told me once that before he joined you, he had a really, really good meeting with you and a good talk about his personality. And did something similar happen with Cody? And is the personality of a player important to you?
It was not exactly, yeah, it's very important to me, absolutely, but it was not exactly like that. Junior was in my house, but it was not possible with Cody, so we had a phone call, we had a long conversation in the moment when we were allowed to do that. So that's obviously slightly different, and when you sit together in a room alone, then the conversation is different. You have, so that's clear. But it was not possible in this case. We had to do it differently. But I really think Cody, and you know that probably better than I do, all the things you can know about Cody, Gakpo is describe him as a very, very good person. So he's born and bred, Eindhoven, there for years and years. Don't know exactly how old he was, 8-9 years when he joined the club, going through all the teams, all the ranks, becoming captain at the age of 22, 23. That all says a lot about him. Then that's what I knew before. Then you speak to a boy, and then his perfect English. Obviously, a lot of Dutch guys really speak an incredible English. So it makes the conversation really easy in that moment. Then you see his face, his smile has the warmth in there, and we had obviously information from Virgil as well about him as a person. So there were actually not a lot of doubts, there were no doubts at all. And yes, personality is very important, I think, not only in football, generally in life. It's very important. And so very happy with signing, very, very.
He's a very intelligent boy, that's how we know him. Good schools, all his family, etc. The fact that he chose Liverpool above all the others
proves the point.
Does it say a lot about him or about the club or both? Because
both I think. So I think there were easier moments, if you want, to join Liverpool in the last year. I'm not sure we were not qualified for the Champions League already, but it looked like okay, that will happen. So this year we cannot guarantee that. So, but Cody never asked. It happens from time to time. The players say, what do you think will make the Champions League, stuff like this. He can read the table obviously himself, so he knew that will be a bit a tight decision. But what I really like about this is he is obviously a guy who doesn't want to jump on the running train. He wants to push the train. So I like that a lot. Good for him as well, because it always helps in life if you are a little bit like that. I think, and you again, I'm now 7.5 years inside. I don't see the club from outside anymore, but you know that Liverpool is a massive club. It is, and what we can give to players is the size of the club, but the feeling inside is very, very. We are really close together. That's how it is. We describe it internally as a family. We don't go outside and tell everybody it's a family or whatever. But internally, it's exactly like that. We sing birthday songs for everybody. We do all these kind of things. Everybody gets flowers in the right moment and these kind of things. So we don't forget the personal thing. And that probably Virgil told him. Was not necessary that I told him. So could we be more successful in a moment on the pitch? Yes, definitely. No doubt about that. But everybody knows we fight with all we have for getting there again, and we will get there. But it's always tough in these moments. It's always tough, and I really like the fact that he decided pretty quickly, yeah, that's the right club for me, and that speaks volumes about him.
Thank you, Marcel.
thank you.
We'll just move on to the embargo section.